There are the AMA U.S. Motocross point standings in the 125. It's Brown, Langston, and Hughes. And James Bubba Stewart is looming on the horizon, winning everything in sight since his return from that Supercross accident. And we talked to the Big Three about Bubba.
Basically, at the points, it's like Bubba doesn't really matter to me right now, you know. For me, getting second behind him is as good as a win. So, you know, his speed is real good at the moment. So, you know, he's the guy to beat, obviously. But, you know, as long as I keep finishing on the podium, I'm going to be happy. And, you know, as long as I head of Brown, that's the most important thing right now.
From now on out, you know, just run as close as I can to Bubba. You know, he's riding really good and he's going fast. And, you know, the only thing I can do is try to beat him and just stay with him, you know, and, you know, not let him get as many points and beat Langston and Hughes.
If I finish top 3 every moto like I was before I got hurt, he won't catch me. If I ride like I did last weekend, like a complete idiot, then yeah, he will catch me. But you know, like I say, I can't control what he does. The only thing I can control is what Ryan Hughes does, and I just got to try 100%. And if I give that and I finish ahead of him, cool. If he beats me, that's life, you know, and that's the only thing I can do.
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how those guys go in Moto number 1, and we're racking up the gate right now for just that. One guy that is ready for sure, well, I'm guessing at least, is James Stewart. In his career, he's won 21 of 28 motos. That's 75% of the races he's entered. Are you paying attention at home? 9 moto win streak he's on. 10 race win streak over the last 2 years. The guy is on fire. Unbelievable competitor. James, hanging out, getting ready, always cool and calm. How are you feeling today?
Feel great, you know, Cameron. Back at here at Unadilla, had a great race last year, and you know, I feel great in practice. You know, I'm just trying to go out there and have a little fun, and you know, try to do the best I can. If I get a great start up right now, and see what happens then.
You said 2 things I'm going to key on: fun. I always see you riding the bike, having a great time, scaring me sometimes when I'm doing the Suzuki Fast Lap. But you talked about last year a little bit. Chad Reed having a little bit more fun than maybe you should have. What was going on?
Nah, you know, it's one of those things. You know, I wanted to prove myself and everybody else that, you know, I could race, and I was the man last year. Now, you know, I feel good this year. You know, I won 4 in a row right now, and you know, I'm gonna just try to check it out and get a great start and come back swinging.
Thinking just about race wins, or are we thinking championship still?
Well, you know, I'm probably gonna try to, you know, continue these moto streaks, you know, try to win some more motos, and then we'll think about championship after that. But in the meantime, how do you feel out there, Cameron? I see you got a little busted up right now, and how do you feel?
Taking a little heat from James Stewart. It's all right. I got a little bit of a boo-boo and making fun of me. It's all right. He's going to steal my job someday. Thank God he's just a great motorcycle rider for now. Wow.
You know, it's funny to hear the difference in their voices between James Stewart and the 3 veterans, Langston, Hughes, and Brown. You know, it's like hearing guys before a game saying, well, we got to play the Chicago Bulls, and yeah, we're going to let Michael Jordan get us 60 points. We're worried about the other guys. And the thing is, they'll go out and get us 60 points. No question about that. Cameron, a good sport there as he got bucked off his local steed. Back to ride again, though. We're getting set for Moto number 1 here at Unadilla. There is Grant Langston, number 111, and Brandon Jessman right next to him, number 26. Jessman also just coming off injury reserve like James Stewart, although obviously not having the same impact that he's had. But last year, James Stewart and Brandon Jessman actually had a pretty good battle here, and Jessman passed him pretty quick. There is the Suzuki starting grid. Number 259 is on the grid on his Kawasaki. James Bubba Stewart, what will he do today? I tell you, the way this track is set up, Todd, Stewart has looked unbelievable from the first time he hit the track. As the board goes sideways, can he carry it into the race? A lot of nerves on the line here at Unadilla. We are off and racing. This is round number 7 from New York. Bubba Stewart does not get the whole shot, and we've got a huge amount of riders going to that corner. Oh, actually, he was able to get around Craig Anderson there. You see him going back and forth. Not a whole shot, but man, he's right there, and that does not bode well for the rest of the pack. Look at that. Right on the inside of Craig Anderson. Nice start for Stewart.
Bubba Stewart makes it difficult to be a sportscaster because as soon as you say one thing, he does the other. He was buried, Davey, in the pack, and he just took a wide line, and next thing you know, he's passing Craig Anderson.
Todd, we've seen this ever since he came back. He's got zero pressure on him. There's no championship at stake. He gets the luxury of going out and riding as fast as he wants. If he falls down, oh well, he loses a race. These other guys, Langston, Hughes, Brown, they might lose a championship. And you see Langston is up in the third, then Ivan Tedesco and Brock Sellers. So you got 3 Yamaha Toy riders in the top 5.
Yamaha feeling very good about that. Craig Anderson sitting second. Here's the start again. Bubba pushed way out to the outside. And as they come back in, Davey, he just makes it hook up.
He just held it on longer, and everyone got a little too far outside here. Anderson was able to come inside. And look, he just takes it easy, doesn't force the issue. He knows he's going to pass it in the next corner, sets himself up perfectly, outside in, flat tracks it, gone.
James Bubba Stewart does not get the whole shot, but he is our leader here in Moto number 1. Craig Anderson, number 109, the Aussie phenom, plus the South African behind him, 111 on the KTM is Grant Langston.
Anderson is the last guy to win a race since Stewart came back to the championship. He did it up in Southwick in the sand, and right here you see Langston, who has yet to win anything but a moto, but Langston sitting pretty for an attack on Brown for the championship. That shows you sort of the effect James Stewart has had.
Well, here's my question. When you go into a race like Grant Langston, Hughes, Brown, and you're thinking about not winning, just keeping James Stewart off, it seems like you're already defeated.
Yeah, of course, and I think that they are looking too far down the road. They're worried about what's going to happen when they get to Steel City or Kenworthy's, and they can't do that because if they keep looking over their shoulders, he's going to catch him.
Mike Brown putting on a tremendous performance right now as he gets the move on. Number 52 is Ivan Tedesco on board the Yamaha. Here comes Brown, number 3 on the Kawasaki, and he heads up a perfect line and dives inside Tedesco.
I tell you, it's good to see this from Mike Brown, even though Tedesco's come back on the inside. It's good to see this from Brownie, because more than anyone, he has really suffered and sort of stagnated his progress ever since Stewart came back. He had, Southwick was just a bad day, wrecked on the start. But Budds Creek and Redbud were terrible finishes for Brown. And with Rhino getting hurt and Langston not winning any motos, you'd think that he'd have a much bigger lead. Instead, he's losing real estate in the point standings.
Tedesco almost goes over the falls right there, following too close to Brownie. He's able to salvage it. Brownie now starting to check out. Let's look at this one more time. Here's the battle. Brown on the right, Tedesco on the inside, number 52.
Now he's going to try the same thing right here that we saw Stewart do to Anderson, although Tedesco makes it easy on him by kind of fumbling on the inside. But so now Tedesco's lined up nicely to bring it back, and look at that, almost over the bars, hits one of those Unadilla bumps that have probably been there for about 3 decades. Nice save by Ivan Tedesco, and he almost got passed by Sorby right there too.
So the Yamahas right now running very well, but they've got company coming up the back in the form of a green Kawasaki, number 3, Mike Brown.
Those are both a couple YZ250Fs that Brown's got to get up and pass. And, they don't normally have that much of an advantage. All things considered, the 125 class is pretty even, but it's going to be tough for Brown to pass these bikes because here at Unadilla, that horsepower definitely shows on some of the hills as Sellers drops down the gravity cavity alongside his teammate.
Craig Anderson on the outside, number 109 out of Australia. Brock Sellers, number 18, dicing inside. And all these guys are out to do one thing, the near impossible, and that's catch James Bubba Stewart.
Stewart's pretty much left the picture to get a glimpse of Grant Langston, the second-place rider, but Stewart is just out there having his own day, his own race. We've seen it ever since he came back. If he doesn't fall in the first turn, he's in a class by himself.
And even if he does fall during the race, he usually has a 20-second plus lead. He can stop, get a cup of coffee, and get back up and go again.
Now you see Ryan Hughes a little further back. A big battle behind him between Tedesco Sorby and Brandon Jessman. He's come up from a not very good start. Coming up along the back. Rhino a little more aggressively, like you said at the top of the show. Rode like an idiot at Redbud, and he can't afford to do that if he's going to stay in this championship.
Eric Sorby dropping back, trying to get back into the fray. We saw flashes of brilliance from him early in the season. This is Brandon Jessman, another one of those riders out of the Suzuki camp, coming out of the MASH hospital and trying to get his act back together. And a big victory for him in the 125e Supercross season has not translated yet over with the injuries, Davey.
I tell you what, he would have been my title favorite had he not gotten hurt just a few days before a turnaround happened to James Stewart. Of course, course, Stewart's in the race, Stewart's the favorite. But whenever Stewart got hurt, it affected Jessamine more than anyone because I think he was in the catbird seat.
No question about that. The 125 class is loaded with talent, which brings us to another point. James Bubba Stewart, who's running away with this, a lot of people want to push him to 250, Davey. Is that premature?
Well, I tell you, I talked to Mark Johnson, the Team Kawasaki manager, this morning about that. I asked him what would happen if they invited James Stewart to ride for Team USA at the Motocross des Nations, and he said we'd be honored, but we would decline because Bubba's not ready for a 250. I know there's about 30,000 people here at Unadilla would think otherwise, but it's not going to happen right away.
There's your running order. Back to Unadilla in a moment. And we are back to Unadilla. This is stop number 7 of the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship. Todd Harris along with Davey Coombs and Cameron Steele. Your leader in Moto number 1 in the 125 class is James Bubba Stewart as we shuffle back for the battle for 4th.
Great battle back and forth between Anderson and Brown. Look at Brown coming up on the inside. About 4 times back and forth in that little section there. And look at that, coming right up behind him, Ryan Hughes. And you know, anytime Hughes gets around Brown, something is sure to happen.
I guarantee Duke Finch is polishing up his spectacles right now in case those two do decide to get together and share dinner plans for tonight. Mike Brown now sits in 4th. Craig Anderson, 109 on the Yamaha, sits in 5th. And as Davey pointed out, here comes Ryan Hughes on board the KTM. Further up the track, that's James Stewart, and he has apparently gone down. The fans are cheering, but I think they're cheering that he's back up and riding, Davey. It looks like he's got a problem with his front brake.
Yeah, you saw him pushing the front brake up, and he was trying to do it going up that hill, which means you can't get up that hill if you don't have your hand on your throttle. And check it out, the entire pack has now swallowed up James Stewart. What an unexpected turn of events. First mistake we've seen him make in a long, long time.
Well, Lady Luck has shined on the rest of the 125 Classic. Grant Langston is there to seize it. It looks like James Bubba Stewart rolled the dice. It came up snake eyes, and right now Langston's saying Yahtzee. He's back in the running, sitting in 2nd place, and the rest of the field, as Davey pointed out, is right there to pound.
What an unexpected. I just can't believe that happened. He was riding around by himself. We weren't even looking. And down he goes, and now it seems like everyone's picked up pace. And there goes Hughes past Anderson. But check it out. You can see Stewart. It looks like his front brake is bent straight down, and that will affect him. On these hills here at Unadilla, you got to have both stoppers.
Well, look at this. Grant Langston trying an inside line on James Bubba Stewart. And I can't believe what I'm saying, but he held the lead. He actually passed Bubba momentarily. And the planets have realigned and everything's back in order. James Stewart is back in 1st place, but Grant Langston, the tough South African on 111, the KTM, is making life a little bit more miserable for 259 James Stewart.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Stewart doing any stopping and looking back like he did last time. Obviously, he's got some problem. His sleeve is all rolled up. The front brake's bent down, and Langston is all over him.
As they come through pit row, what an amazing turn of events. Grant Langston is actually running with James Bubba Stewart, albeit minus, it looks like a front brake. As you see, he went by J-Bone. Sign said, be strong, stay focused, and that's exactly what he's going to have to do.
He's going to have to. I tell you what, if he can hold off Langston a little longer, you watch Stewart will start looking forward again. And I think Langston senses that, and he senses the urgency of passing James Stewart right now, because if he gets away again, what's the chances of him making 2 mistakes?
Grant Langston trying to close in on our leader, number 259, James Bubba Stewart. This is the closest anyone's been to him since they dropped the gate. For more on James Bubba Stewart, let's send it down to Cameron Steele in the pit.
J-Bone, we were talking a few minutes ago. Something happened. What went down on the course? Well, we know James went down.
Yeah. They said he slid up the face of a jump and hit a kicker, and it like just pitched him off. But looks like the front brake is the way down. It's going to be tough to grab it from where it's at. So I'm sure all the downhills and charging the corner is going to be a little tougher now. But I know he's going to give it all he's got. That's for sure.
Well, he's already passed back to the lead, so it must not be hindering him too much. But we know front brake is most of your stopping power on a dirt bike, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to pull this little AT handle out in case he wants to fix it, but I know he'll figure out how to ride without it. That's for sure.
Todd, did you see how far outside Stewart went when they went down into the section they called the wall right there? I don't think he could stop.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, as Cameron pointed out with J-Bone, stopping downhill without a front brake. And look at this. Ryan Hughes goes past his good friend, Mike Brown.
And that's another unexpected turn of events. Obviously, Hughes feeling a lot better with that broken leg. Maybe that time off missing Kenworthy's helped him more than anyone.
Well, the thought that J-Bone could even possibly have him come in and change it during the race is amazing. It definitely goes towards his rider's ability. But we have got a great race here. The folks at Unadilla are being treated to a real classic.
I can't see Stewart stopping at this point. If he would have gotten passed by Langston, some of these other guys, whoa! Sorby with a little love tap there with Craig Anderson. I wonder if Duke Finch saw that. But I really back up to Stewart. I doubt that he is going to pull into the pits. If he's going as fast as Langston is right now, I just can't see it happening. This was earlier when he went back and forth. You saw Langston come down the inside. Stewart went to the outside, squared it up, comes right around the outside. Smart move by Stewart, keeping out front. And then this is Sorby when he comes inside on Anderson. I just don't think there's any need for this. Look at that. That's unnecessary roughness. If that's the NFL, Duke Finch is throwing a flag.
Oh, and there's a lot of yellow flags out there to be thrown. Craig Anderson lucky he didn't get T-boned right there as he came back onto the track. Meanwhile, it's Brock Sellers and Ryan Hughes now getting after it. And Ryan Hughes, I don't know if he smells blood in the water or what, but this may be his best opportunity to pick up a win.
Well, I tell you what, this is just like Hangtown. You go back to 1995. Hughes won that summer. The last national he won before Hangtown this year, Unadilla, 1995. I know he loves this track. And right here, just a nice pass on Brock Sellers, and now you get a three-way going.
The Kawasaki's are teaming up on the Yamahas. Mike Brown, Eric Sorby, and Brock Sellers has got his hands full. He's going to be unfortunate if he lets the door open for one of them, and it looks like Sorby's going to get him on the outside.
Here you see Jessamine sneaking up too, and look at that. Another inside out. There's good passing right there in that corner. I like the way that's set up. And look at Sorby. That's a nice move on Brock Sellers. See if he can hold it this time too.
Eric Sorby, number 917, on board the Kawasaki, originally from France. Brock Sellers, number 18, on the Yamaha. And here comes Mike Brown, number 3, on his Kawasaki. They are bunching up. And look at this. Ryan Hughes is being told to breathe and pour it on.
Look at the freight train coming up behind him. There's a lot of talent there. It seems like the whole face of this race changed when James Stewart went down.
Oh, and speaking of going down, Eric Sorby, the flying Frenchman, just goes into the Unadilla gravel, and he's got a fountain going there.
Yeah, you see the radiator. You know what? I'll bet Craig Anderson was smiling when he went by right there.
There's a thing called karma. Look at the passing one more time.
Sorby goes on the inside, manages to pass both guys there in the last corner. Then Sellers got it back going down the straightaway, squares up. He's going to see that all day. Finally gets around, so he's had a nice lap there, past two top guys, and then an unforced error. Comes out, front wheel washes, and it looks like it ruined his bike too. It's got to be radiator fluid shooting out.
So Eric Sorby could be done for at least moto number 1. That's Brock Sellers now starting to get pressure from the 125 East Supercross champion Brandon Jessamine, flying the colors for Suzuki. We'll take a break. We'll be back to Unadilla in just a moment. Welcome back to Unadilla. This is round number 7, the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. Our leader in moto number 1 to 125 class is James Bubba Stewart, but he is getting pressure from Grant Langston, who has now dropped back to just over 4 seconds behind.
Like I said, Todd, if he didn't pass him again right there, he wasn't going to pass him back. Stewart just able to calm down. He is obviously riding at a disadvantage. Check it out right here. You can see how far down that brake lever is. Now, that wouldn't make a big difference if you were at, say, Southwick or Kenworthy's. But here on these hills, it makes a huge difference. He just needed to adjust and learn how to ride with it.
This is the battle for third. Ryan Hughes on board the KTM, and a quick pass by Brandon Jessamine. And Roger DeCosta's got to love what he's seen here.
Very nice line. I didn't see that coming. Jessamine going around the outside. You don't normally see that. The inside of that corner rutting up. And you know what? That's a left-handed corner, and it's hard for Ryan Hughes to put his foot down. Remember, that's the leg he broke 5 weeks ago. He comes in. He's not as aggressive as Ryan Hughes normally is. See how slow he gets right there? He's trying to keep his foot up, and Jessamine just sweeps right around the outside.
Cuts it right through the tree. Meanwhile, for Team ECC Suzuki and Steve Langston, it looks like his day is done. We'll have to find out what's going on there. But Langston's bike is definitely done for this moto. Back to our leader. This is James Bubba Stewart. Gave us all a scare earlier when he went down. He recouped, and he's basically riding that bike without a front brake.
Now check it out. Langston himself is starting to get a little pressure from Brandon Jessamine.
So it's Stewart, Langston, and Jessamine right now. And look at Brandon Jessamine.
Look at that. Langston ran off the track. We're watching Jessamine shoot out of orbit. And Langston runs off the track all by himself. Jessamine passes another KTM rider, same spot almost.
So Brandon Jessamine has made an incredible assault on the lead, moving up. Look at it one more time. There's Langston going through, and watch Jessamine coming to your picture.
Look at that. He launched. I think he held the bike wide open or something. Something seemed to spook Langston, and he runs right off the track, opens the door up, and you know what? This is the kind of mistake Langston, Hughes, and Brown can't be making. This guy is going to catch them if they don't get their collective acts together. You can't do something like that. And now you have the two guys who were out at the beginning of the year, Stewart and Jessamine, running 1-2, and that's the way a lot of people thought it would have been.
Here's James Bubba Stewart coming around on the final lap. Meanwhile, in the picture-in-picture mode, we've got a great battle going for third. There's the KTM rider. Brandon Jessamine is already checked out. He's in second, and Grant Langston's got his hands full.
It's Langston and Hughes going for that last spot on the podium, and those are valuable points to these two guys. There you see Jessamine come down, and then right behind them, that's Langston holding on to third, and Hughes doing everything he can. You know that guy's not going to give up, but he might run out of time right here.
Meanwhile, it's 259 minus the front brake, sporting the Fox zebra stripes. James Bubba Stewart. Why would we want to push this kid in 250? He's having too much fun in 125, and he picks up the victory. When we come back, we'll talk to our winners, plus the Racer X pit pass after this. We are back to the Unadilla Valley Sports Center for the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, and that is one worked-over brake lever of James Bubba Stewart. J-Bone getting right on that as we take a look at our Honda official results. It's Stewart, Jessamine, Langston, Hughes, and Brett Metcalf on the KTM. Rounding out the top 5, Craig Anderson drops down to 8 after a great ride by him. All in all, a very exciting 125 Moto number 1. We'll sure to see more of the same in Moto number 2. Right now, let's send it down to Cameron Steele.
Well, James, it started out looking like it was going to be a runaway, but a crash. What happened?
I don't know. Just here at Unadilla was one of those little goofy falls that slid up the face. I actually crashed pretty hard and just gave my arm up a little bit, but, you know, I had to dig down deep. I knew if I wanted anything to do with the championship, I had to, you know, knock out some motos, but, you know, I felt great out there. I didn't get tired or nothing. Just got a little arm pump because I couldn't use my front brakes. My handlebars were bent and everything, and, you know, I'm good now. Just having fun out here.
Well, thank you, Jim. The hills here at Unadilla, it's got to be tough. No front brakes. It's a huge amount of your stopping power.
Yeah, you know, getting killed in the screw U's and, you know, in the corners and stuff, I couldn't use the front brakes. I was going so slow, and that's usually my specialty. So, you know, actually it was like 3 seconds, and I ended up slowing down in those guys' face after that happened. But, you know, I'm going to come back and take a moto and get another hole shot like I did and come back out.
Smashes up his handlebars, and he's still smiling. Upcoming races include Millville, Minnesota, then Binghamton, New York, and Delmont, Pennsylvania on the 29th and 30th. Right now, let's check in with Cameron.
Well, yeehaw, Brandon. It's got to feel good to get on the podium after being injured, coming back.
Definitely is, man. After last weekend, I thought it was going to be a long time, but, you know, we got the bike working good, and I just came out here and did my best, and, you know, I came over second, one spot away from what I want.
Obviously charging huge out there. The jump out of the gravity cavity. I mean, is that suggested? I mean, should you be doing that?
Well, I don't really suggest it, but I was just trying to make up as much time as I could anywhere possible, so if I didn't do it, I wouldn't have been giving it my all, so I just went for it.
Great ride. What do you think, Moto 2? You get the start, you can do battle with James?
Definitely get a little better gate pick second moto, hopefully get a better start, and go up and run with him.
Well, Grant, third place in Moto number 1. We talked about the points championship earlier. You want the points, and putting some on Mike Brown today. A solid performance.
Yeah, you know, right now that's the plan, just to, like I said, I just want to be on the podium each and every race and gain points, and I did just that right there. And I don't know where Brownie finished, but I think the points are pretty close now. And you know, Bubba started pulling away, and he fell, and I saw him, and, you know, I charged for a while, and I caught up to him, and, you know, I passed him a couple of times, and we had a good little battle there, and And then towards the end, I think something went off in my rear shock because it lost all its dampening, and I was hopping all over the place. So I was struggling towards the end there, so I ended up slowing down a little and made a mistake coming to one of these turns. I overshot the turn, and Brandon was able to get around me. But, you know, third place, I beat the guys who are right behind me in the championship, so that's what matters right now.
Nice job. We'll see how Moto 2 goes.
Thanks.